who died of sudden cardiomyopathy heart death, known to be, and by actual chemistry, shown to be a death caused by a selenium deficiency. There had to be some of those, if I was correct. The selenium deficiency also caused cystic fibrosis. I had to find some cystic fibrosis in those Chinese kids, even though in the literature it was supposed to be a genetically transmitted disease of white Eastern European kids. And so, against the objections of everybody who thought I was just wasting my time and money, my mother paid actually for the travel and the hotels and all that kind of stuff. And her parents set up the ability for me to go over there and do the study. I had to actually pass a test through them to make sure that I was a pathologist, which I was able to do, and we set to work. Make a long story short, we did 1,700 autopsies on kids under the age of 10 that had died of sudden death, cardiomyopathy heart disease. 35%, 595 of them have classic pancreatic, liver, and lung lesions of cystic fibrosis, and 100% had classic lesions of muscular dystrophy. Published in the Journal of the Trace Element Research Institute in 1990, and with pictures and photographs of all the lesions and everything. Obviously, if nothing could be thought to be hokey, because there were the pictures under the microscope. Everything was exactly as I said in the writing of the article. Sent copies of that article, which was published in 1990, to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Talked to Dr. Beal, or Bell, he pronounces it as spelled Beal, B-E-A-L-E. And then more recently, in the last couple of years, again. And of course, he just said, well, that's all kind of interesting, Wally, but there's still a genetic disease in humans. And I sent the same stuff to the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation. They didn't even respond. And then in 2011, the government defunded primate research because it's too expensive, $1,000 a day for monkeys, 10 cents a day for mice. And they told the individuals who wanted to do primate research they had to go to Warren Buffett or the Gates Foundation to get the money for it because the government wasn't going to do it anymore. And then the Journal of Laboratory Animal Research, the people who are doing research in primates put all kinds of articles in there saying all the wonderful things that had happened in the 20th century and the first couple of years of the 21st century, how many wonderful things have been accomplished through primate research, and they're begging the government not to cut it out. When it got to the primary article in that issue, this was June of 2011, they said, well, the most striking things that were more important in the 20th century, the top five, cystic fibrosis was number 2. And they said, we found a non-human case, classic, everybody agreed to, non-human case of cystic fibrosis. And then in brackets they say the Emory University refused to give out the name of the young pathologist who had made the discovery. Why they were dumb enough to put that in there, I don't know. Of course, that ticked off the awards committee from the Journal of Biological Trace Element Research, and they awarded me the 2011 Klaus Schwarz Medal, which is the first time that a naturopathic doctor and or veterinarian had ever received the award. It's kind of like the Nobel Prize of Biochemistry and Trace Element Research. For 28 years, it had only been given to MD and MD PhDs, and so it was quite an honor to get that. But the most important thing, I think, is the last paragraph in the letter that the awards committee sent out along with the award announcement. And I'll read it to you if I may. It's just a very short paragraph. It says, from a historical perspective, Wallach is to be regarded as one of the first practitioners of, if not founders, of the science of epigenetics. And so that's kind of a rapid, short version of the whole story of how the Keyshawn thing came about. And, of course, these are big stories in this new book coming out, Epigenetics, which is due to hit the street in March. And over the last 5 years, Marvin Ropp and Dr. Glidden and myself have been looking at kids who died of muscular dystrophy, or kids who are still alive but are suffering disabilities from muscular dystrophy. And, of course, the Keyshawn story also showed that 100% of those 1,700 kids had classic lesions of muscular dystrophy. And
How does this all, Doc, how does this all tie into fibromyalgia, muscular dystrophy, cystic fibrosis, and fibromyalgia? From our point of view, they're kissing cousins. So what's the nature of fibromyalgia from your point of view relative to all of this other stuff?
Okay, well, thank you for keeping me on the rails there. Fibromyalgia is kind of part of a, as you say, kissing cousin to lupus, fibromyalgia, scleroderma, muscular dystrophy, stiff limb disease, white muscle disease, cancer, all kind of the same disease, just different versions of it. Just like Parkinson's disease, MS, multiple sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS are really the same disease, just different locations, randomized degree of severity. The same thing is true with fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is a mild case of cystic fibrosis and muscular dystrophy in adults or teenagers. And it can be catastrophic in little kids as they're developing and going through puberty, and they require lots more stuff. But once you've reached the age of adulthood, or at least young adulthood, where you're not growing rapidly anymore, a 10% of your required selenium would be enough to keep you from maybe even dying of a cardiomyopathy heart attack, but not enough to stop you from getting muscle pain in the early stages under the microscope, even by biopsy, what we would call fibromyalgia. And so it all comes down to where you live, how much selenium is in the soil, and it's kind of a negative when people say, to be healthy, you should eat from your local farmer's market. Well, there's no selenium in the soil in the farmer's market, you're in trouble. You're going to get fibromyalgia. You have high risk of, especially if you're doing physical labor or doing exercise, you're sweating, you have a higher risk of dying of a cardiomyopathy heart attack. It'd be very interesting to go back and do a statistical analysis of what do people die from that have fibromyalgia. What is the percentage who die of cardiomyopathy heart disease when they have fibromyalgia? What percentage who have fibromyalgia have liver cirrhosis, which is another signal of selenium deficiency? And so on. What percentage of people who have fibromyalgia have acute pancreatitis, which is also a selenium deficiency? And just like calcium deficiency produces 147 different diseases, it's random how people are diagnosed, because whatever is the preeminent feature, that's what disease you get diagnosed with. For instance, we have a calcium